Hello there, vinyl community, and welcome to the final video of 2014. This will be a year in review. It's New Year's Eve tomorrow, and it's time to welcome a new year and look back upon the old one. And I'm going to do the later one right now. I'm going to look back on my records buying and my workings with records in 2014, and this will be a little longer video, so I hope you will forgive that. But hey, I can't do a summary of a whole year in 10 minutes. It's a little hard to do that, so this will be a little bit longer video. In this video I will count down the 10 best findings of 2014. I will do a couple of other award giving away awards, and well, those are the things that I will do. Little year in review. 2014 has been a year that have been an okay year, nothing more, nothing less. Considering the fact that we no longer have a record store here in Sundsvall, it has been a good year actually, a whole lot better than I expected actually, but still I've also been having even better years, so somewhere down in the middle. I've been doing a whole lot of working with my collection this year. I've been doing a massive cleaning in my collection, removing records that I haven't no longer used for, that are in too bad shape, or records that I'm no longer listening to. The best ones, the ones in best quality, I have given away to charity, to record secondhand stores. The one who looked absolutely the worst, I have transformed into Shanger separators, as I showed in a previous video. So and I have been continuing writing in and cleaning up in my database also, of records that I'm no longer having in my collection, must be removed from the database, of course. So a little bit working with records this year. When it comes to what I've been buying, when it comes to as of course Nielsen, he did a countdown on how many records he has been buying this year and so on. I haven't been doing that kind of checking, but when it comes to which kind of Shangers I bought most from, it is a huge rise when it comes to 70s music. I bought very much 70s music, and it is a genre that I decided to start collecting in the beginning of very beginning of this year, end of last year. So it was a little slow start. I had trouble finding good 70s record, but it has been kept coming since summer, and I've been finding a whole lot of new great 70s records, and hopefully that will continue in 2015. Last year, 2013, it was a very low year for jazz. This year it has been a little better, but of course it holds up by the fact that I found one secondhand store that sold out a huge collection of jazz CDs that I bought from. So that has been something that is holding up the numbers of jazz records that I bought, but still a little more jazz records than last year. The disappointment this year has been the 80s records. I have found very much less 80s records this year. I don't know if it is because that I have so many 80s records now that it is hard to find new ones, or if it's just the fact that it hasn't been dropping in new 80s records in secondhand stores that I visit. So, and most likely I think it is the last one. So hopefully it will be better in 2015, and I will find more 80s records, because that has been one of the cornerstones of my collection since I started with collecting, and I really don't want that to end, actually. And 2014, of course, have been the year when I started in vinyl community. Christmas Eve last year, I had wished for a web camera in Christmas present. I got it. And in the late January this year, I made my very first video. And I was very nervous. I did a whole bunch of retakes for that video before I was satisfied. And that video today have about 300 viewers, a little more than 300 viewers. So it has been a very exciting year, making new contacts, and seeing a whole lot of new records, seeing great and funny and entertaining videos, participating in very interesting and funny contests, with everything from imaginary Halloween parties and Christmas parties, and comparing songs that sounds alike, and so on, which band set that are the best, and so on. So it's been a very, very interesting year, and from the bottom of my heart, I want to thank each and every one who have watched my videos, every subscriber that I have, and everyone who have been commenting my video. I'm very grateful, and that you want to see me and my records, and I hope that it will be continuing to next year. And now, before we get too sentimental, let's go on with the nominating of different awards here. We're going to go down to the top findings of the year, but first we have this one. The Song of the Year. That was something that I did prior 10 years ago. After 2004, I more or less quit nominating Song of the Year, because I had trouble finding good songs, and wasn't all that interested in new music. I'm still not all that interested in new music, but it has been a little more of new music in this year. But the Song of the Year is a song that I discovered this spring. It is with artists that I have been that I liked very much for many years, and I bought the EP that the song was from this November, and I'm talking about Do It Again with Robin and Röyksopp. It's not the EP actually that is the Song of the Year, of course. We may come back to that a little bit later, but it is the song Do It Again with Robin and Röyksopp. A marvelous mix of synth pop, electro, and catchy pop tunes. I like it very, very much. I've always loved Robin's voice, and I also almost always loved the Norwegian group Röyksopp's production, their atmosphere in the production, and their synthesizers, and I think this trio is a great collaboration that I hope to hear a whole lot more from. So Do It Again with Robin and Röyksopp is the Song of the Year 2014. From the Song of the Year to the worst buying of the year, the worst finding of the year. When you buy records, you more or less buy many records where you're taking chances that you hope is good, some things that you hope is good, but in the end, not everything is actually good. And there's been very few mistakes this year, and I'm very happy about that. But it's one moment and one record that comes to my mind when it comes to the worst finding of this year, the worst mistake of the year, whatever you might call it. It was from Stockholm when I was there in October with my friend Otto. We visited a record store in Stockholm called Stockholms Serie och Vinyl, Stockholm's Comic and Vinyl. And there I found a record that I hoped was something that I looked for entire year. It was an album, I think it was the very first 1978 album with British group Squeeze. I've heard a song at an old radio show that I liked very much, Take Me I'm Yours, and I hope that this was the album that song was on. However, all of a sudden I couldn't remember what name of the song was, so I just saw this album, Squeeze, and I looked at the year. It was said 1978. Wow, is this album? I buy it, and I did, and I checked out that there are two bands named Squeeze, one from Australia and the more famous one from UK. And this was, of course, the Australian ones. So I was a little bit disappointed, but I gave it a chance. This album, the Squeeze is on, and it turned out to be a very, very low budget version of Sweet. Glam rock like Sweet, but much more uninteresting. I'm no fan of Sweet. That kind of glam rock is not my interest. And then you might realize how bad this was when I think that Sweet was even better than this one. So this will most likely go somewhere to a second-hand store if no one else wants it. So this was the mistake of this year, the worst finding of 2014. Then we're going to come into the countdown of the top findings of this year. I've been doing a little countdown of 10 records. It was 6, and I did this in February. Now I've been taking a little more records and I've done a top 10. But I'm going to show a little bit of pictures, a little mix of records that are just outside this top 10. You can call them an honorable mention of records that was really, really good this year, that didn't really fit into top 10, but was very close to it. So those were records that were really, really good, but not that good that it fits on this top 10. And see, whole lot of 70s. Let's start it off with number 10 is a band that I discovered this year when I went on a second-hand store and found their records for about 20 cents or something like that. And I've sseen this record before, and now I gave it a chance since it was so cheap. And I found the single of this song is not my favorite song, so I have doubts, but when I listened to it, it was fantastic. Bloody Tourists by 10cc. Number 10 is 10cc. It is a very, very experimental and beautiful, well-made album. Never boring 1 second. You never know how the next song is going to sound like. It is. I really, really like this record, and it's beautiful songs mixed with great experimental stuff. So, number 10, Bloody Tourist 10cc, and I hope that 2015 there will be more 10cc records in my collection. Number 9 is a record that I already have shown. It is the EP Robin and Röyksopp. A release from 2014 is on my top 10 of the top findings of a year. It's not usual actually that it happens. It doesn't happen all that often. This EP contains 5 tracks, and every one of them is really, really great. The production is filled with a lot of atmosphere. It's beautiful with synthesizers and Robin's wonderful voice, and it's experimental but still very beautiful, very soft, and I really, really like this EP. It's marvelous. Robin, that has been doing records since 1996, is soon 20 years, and still the Swedes love her. Almost everything she does reaches the hit charts, and everything she does is so marvelous. And if it sounds like this, Robin and Röyksopp can do as many records together as they want to. Number 8 is actually 2 records from the same artist that I found in Stockholm in 2 different stores. One at Atlas CD-börs at Sankt Eriksgatan, and one was at Mosebacke Records. And it is with a band that I felt like I wanted to discover, and this year I took upon myself to do it. So I bought 2 records with new music, From A to B and this one, Anywhere. And both albums were magnificent synth pop music. It was filled with atmospheric and very much exciting synth pop music with melodies that took you anywhere. You never knew where the song is going to end actually. This one, Anywhere, in my opinion, is maybe a little bit stronger, but not much. I heard parts of this album in an old radio show called El Dorado, and I was very curious of this album, and finally I had it, and it lived up to all my expectations. Very relaxing and atmospheric and exciting, and I really, really have become a huge fan of new music this year. So these 2 albums, number 8. Number 7, we go back to the 70s and to the record fair in this autumn at the Club Pipeline, and there I have been able to find for the past 3 or 4 record fairs records with Rufus and Chaka Khan, and this time was no exception. And I found this one, Master Jam, and I gotta tell you, this was the best one actually. This is a mix between Quincy Jones, marvelous production because he has produced this, and Rufus and Chaka Khan, and Chaka Khan's beautiful voice. So a Master Jam is an orgy in funk, in groove, beautiful ballads, and it's nearly as perfect as a Chaka Khan album can be. So this was, I was very, very happy when I listened to this. I was sitting, wiggling and jamming at the desk when I listened to it at my computer. So this one, number 7, are highly recommended. Number 6, we go back half a year to the spring record fair, and a record that I was able to find after nearly 20 years. I heard this song on the radio in 1985. I got very interested in it. I've been searching for the single ever since. I didn't know how the single looked like. I actually haven't been able to find it anywhere, but finally I got it, and I was really happy. Perfect A-side, perfect B-side of Swedish indie pop group Lolita Pop and their Swedish single 2000 år, 2000 year, and the B-side Hällande regn, pouring rain. And really great indie rock tune. Karin Wistrand is marvelous here, the singer, and really happy to finally have this one in my collection. Number 5 takes us back to my trip to Stockholm, even though it was not really Stockholm. It was Uppsala, who is the neighbor city of Stockholm, and I was there and with my friend Otto, and passed by a record store called Örat, the ear, and musicyear is the correct name, but I think it's called Örat. And I went in there and saw nothing but very expensive records that I was totally uninterested in, with one exception. This one, OMD, Orchestral Maneuvers in the Dark, with this very limited edition 12-inch single of La Femme Accidente from 1985 and the album Crush. I was extremely happy because I paid only $2 for this one, and really, even though La Femme Accidente, the song itself, is not OMD's best single, but I was extremely happy to find this one. Little rarity that actually with great songs, and really happy to find this one. Number 4 are these boxes bought from the web shop Ginsa, the Swedish web shop Ginsa. 10 CD box with the tenor saxophone player Coleman Hawkins, along with a 40-page booklet. I've been going through 7 of these 10 records so far. I have 3 left, and they are marvelous. It is 30s and 40s swing at its best, and this is so great and marvelous jazz music. I haven't been able to hear one record yet by Art Tatum. I have so much to listen to since during this autumn when it comes to records from the record fair and from the Stockholm trip and so on, and various records from this summer, so I haven't been able to listen to any of this one, but I'm a huge fan of Art Tatum, so I have nothing but high hopes for this one. So these are, and I've got them pretty cheap as well. I think I bought them for $3 box, so I'm extremely happy to have these 10 CD boxes with these great musicians. We're in the top spots now. Number 3, bronze position, goes to a record that I showed in one of my first vinyl updates. It was a price that was unbelievable. Talking about Depeche Mode's latest album, Delta Machine, that I bought for just $1. And it contains 2 CDs, the main CD and a CD containing bonus tracks. Great pictures in the booklet, very special and nice, and it was also sealed in plastic. So and I got this for only $1 at the warehouse that we have, Åhléns. So this was a marvelous find that I was extremely happy, and the album is also really great, Depeche Mode album. So a great finding. Number 2 is not one record, it's not 2 records, it's 13 records. It is a very special moment, maybe the best buying moment of the year, when I went at a second-hand store in Sundsvall called Magasinet. And all of a sudden they had gotten in a huge jazz collection on CD. They're taking $1 CD, and I became very happy. So I bought these 13 records in May, I think it was, with everything from Artie Shaw, Dorsey Brothers, to Oscar Peterson's. It is very much live shows, Count Basie, and we have Benny Goodman, and all the great jazz musicians. And it's very much rare records that I'm pretty sure I wouldn't have been found anywhere else. Live recordings that are very, very great. And so this one I was extremely happy to find, and really like when a record store has got in so much new stuff that are so interesting at the same time. So we're finally there. The number 1 spot, the best finding of 2014, is an album that I actually didn't buy myself. I have a song that I've been recording in a horrible cassette recording from radio when I was a kid, and it is an atmospheric song that the only thing I knew was that they were singing like människor bland molnen, people among the clouds, but I had no idea who was singing it. I had no idea what the song title was. So I took a chance and I asked people at the record at the community at a forum, discussion forum for record collectors in Sweden that I'm part of, and I got finally an answer. And all of a sudden a person at that forum wrote to me and said that he has found this record at a record store in Stockholm, and he bought it for me, and the record store mailed it to me. I paid my money and I got it. Tundra, Swedish prog group from the early 80s with their album Dubbla Budskap, and it's from 1982. And this was a pure risk taker. I don't think I ever been taking that much risk as I did here, because I had no idea if this really was the right album back then. Now I found out that it was, but I didn't know it then. I had no idea if it was just that song that was good, because I paid, I think, $8 for it. I have no idea if it was just that song that was good and the rest of the album was crappy or not. I had no idea about this album, but I still bought it, and it turned out to be a great album, very atmospheric with a lot of folk music, Swedish folk music, very relaxing, great singing, and of course this song that is called Himalaya, for real. And I was extremely happy. I've been searching high and low for this song, and I found a record. I took a chance not knowing what it was, and it turned out to be a really, really great record that I had both great buying memories from, and turned out to be a great relaxing record. So I was extremely happy about this one. Also, as I think, very hard to find. Maybe one of the best records in my collection. And I still want to say very huge thank you to the person who gave me the tip of this record. So with that, that was my 2014, and soon it will be 2015. What will this year hold for us, for me and my collection? Nobody knows. I hope that I will find a whole lot more new records, and maybe, hopefully, I can hope that it will be open a new record store here soon as well, so I can buy it from someone who has a lot of records. So with that, I'm going to wish you, every subscriber that I have, everyone who watches this movie and have watched my movies during this year, and everyone at YouTube, everyone I know, a very, very happy new year. A happy 2015.